शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. Om. Dear friends, we were reading the 19th shloka of second adhyaya. The overall context is Arjuna said, I am not going to fight, I am unable to fight this Bhishma and Drona, Pujarho Varisudana. So that is what he was saying. And for that, Lord Krishna is giving him a picture of what exactly is the nature of Jiva. You are thinking that all these people are going to die. So then what is the nature of Jiva? What is the nature of ultimate reality, what is called Paramatma? And in that overall framework, what is the duty of a human being? After all, Krishna is not trying to misdirect Arjuna. Krishna is only trying to give a picture of what is the absolute reality. In that framework, what is the duty of a man in the society? You can say that everything, oh, okay, Atma is not going to die, Atma is not the killer, I am going to kill everybody, kill all. It is not like that. Again, in that framework, we have to define, we have got what is called a tentative reality or an empirical reality, that is the society. And all the human relations, they fall under that tentative reality. So, once we know that absolute reality, from that reality, all our ethics, they flow. And all this, in this ethics, we have to accept what is called Vyavaharika Satyam. Vedanta calls it Vyavaharika Sat. That is all this transactional or empirical reality. And in this, every man has got a dharma. And that duty, Krishna is going to say. So he says, Yayenam vetti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhautau na vijanito nayam hantina hanyate. He is again talking about this Jiva, this Atma, where he says that if you think that his Atma is something which is going to kill, or Atma is going to be killed, both people are ignorant. Ubhautau na vijanito. They both are ignorant. Na ayam hanti, na hanyate. It is neither the killer nor the killed. So here, remove this word called killer, killed, etc. Because overall context, in fact, even in Kathopanishad also the same words are used. At least here in Mahabharata, in Geeta, what we are seeing is the context is war. There is a war situation, and now this killer and killed, those words may be appropriate. But in the Kathopanishad, this boy Nachiketa goes to Lord Yama. There is no question, there is no context of killer or killed or anything. So these words like na hanta, na hanyate, so why are they used? That is only to very effectively convey a point. Suppose you say, okay, you can do whatever you like. So in order to emphasize a particular point, that what we call Atma is not the Karta. Atma, in that consciousness, there is no such thing called doership. That is Kartrutva or Bhoktrutva. Whatever Kartrutva or Bhoktrutva are there, what we talk about, they are only for the body-mind complex. This body-mind complex, so long as the Jiva is associated or identifying himself with the body-mind complex, he moves on in this cycle of samsara. This is another point which we have to note, so that the next shlokas, they become easier and easier. What we say, when we say that Atma, you are referring to that pure consciousness. That pure consciousness which is reflecting in this Antahkarana, that is called Jiva, and that is, suppose it is identifying with the body-mind complex. The consciousness which is reflecting in my mind is identifying with the body-mind complex, and it assumes, yes, I am this. Then it becomes Jiva. And that Jiva, it keeps on doing some karma, keeps on acquiring punyam, papam, etc., etc. And because of punyam and papam, I keep on rotating in this cycle of birth and death and birth and death. Continuously it goes on and on and on. And when is the liberation? When is the liberation means the Jiva has to think about his real nature. What is my real nature? My real nature is, I am not this body-mind complex. I am that supreme reality. I am of the nature of that consciousness. I am of the nature of absolute Sat, which is not going to die. So that realization, when it comes, then at that time, this cycle of birth and death comes to an end. So this is one point this is the final point in Vedanta. So once we know that, we know the context of this thing. This whole shlokas we see. So here Krishna is talking about na yenam vetti hantaram, the one who knows that he is the killer, the one who knows he is the killed, etc., etc. He is not talking in terms of only killing. He is not encouraging Arjuna go and kill. This is basically to explain or rather emphasize a point. Emphasize a point that in this Atma, there is no kartrutva or doership or bhoktrutva. There is no question of enjoy, there is no enjoyership in this particular Atma. And technically they call it Atma is something which is called akarta abhokta. That is what they say. Akarta means in that pure Atma, there is no question of karta or bhokta. Whereas when you come to this tentative reality, again you have to define your duty, what we call ethics. And according to ethics, a man has to function. So then the next shloka is also like that. Next shloka, again from Kathopanishad only. Najayate mriyate va kadashit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Of course, we don't have time to go into every word and all that. I am not explaining every word by word, but I am broadly giving the meaning of the verse. So here he says, Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. This Atma is something which is not born and it is not going to die. I think this we understand by now. When we say that this Atma is not going to, it is not something which is born, which is not going to die, we understand because while explaining that particular verse, shloka number 16, Asato vidyate bhava, etc., I explained to you what is that Sat and what is that Chit. And I also explained to you how this has been analyzed in the framework of Jagrada Avastha, Swapna Avastha and Sushupti Avastha. So in all these avasthas, and if you examine the entire human experience, in this whole thing, what we see is that there is one consciousness only. And this consciousness is not something which is unique to one single individual. It is the same thing which is operating everywhere, all over the universe. And this whole universe itself is a manifestation in that consciousness. So this is what we have seen. So now with that background, if you just recall what we talked in shloka number 16, you understand this. Najayate mriyate va kadachit. This is something which is not born. It doesn't die at all. And when we are talking about, when he is talking about that jayate, mriyate, etc., etc., the commentators, they have also referred to what are called the different stages in the life of any living being. Take the case of any living being, that any living being, it comes into existence. So it appears for some time, it grows, it becomes strong, then again slowly it goes on changing. There is a certain type of decay and ultimately it disappears. So these are called bhava vikaras. Bhava means whatever has come into existence. Vikara means change. Bhava vikara means whatever has come into existence. There are so many changes in that. And they have shastras, they talk about 6 bhava vikaras. That is jayate, asti, vardhate, parinamate. We need not bother for the names. That is something which is born. It comes into existence solidly. Then again it grows, it changes slowly and decays and slowly disappears. Vinashyati, the last final thing is nashyati. So there is what is called jayate and nashyati. It is born and dies. What? It is the human body. We are talking about anything which is coming into existence tentatively. So that for this Atma, there is no such thing. This Atma is something which does not undergo any of these vikara. Vikara is another technical word we come across very often. Vikara is change. Change means suppose you take milk and that milk, you put some buttermilk in that and by tomorrow it becomes curd. So that is a parinama or a vikara or a change. So something which parinamate, vikriyate. So that is what they say. So their Atma is something in which there is no vikara. There is absolutely no change. That is what he says. Nayam bhutva abhavita vana bhuyah. So it is not as though it was there for some time and it is not going to be there in future. It is not like that. It is always there. Then again, ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha. Ajaha. Ja means birth. Aja means something which is not having birth. That means something which is originless. Something you can just go back and back and back billions and billions of years. You can only talk about the universe. When we say that the universe came into existence a few billion years ago, you are not talking about that Atma. You are only talking about this universe. And Atma is something which you just cannot calculate, because something which is beyond time. So ajo nityaha, shashvataha. Shashvata again means shashvat bhava, that is which is always there. Then puranaha. Purana is another word. Purana does not mean Vishnu Purana, Agni Purana, Shiva Purana, etc. Purana means pura api navam. Though it was there, it was always there. Even now it is there. It was always earlier there, it is now there. So in that sense, pura api navam. It was there, it is there. So something which is beyond time. And na hanyate, hanyamane sharire. Na hanyate, hanyamane sharire means when the body-mind complex goes, this is not going to die. And you take the example of a pot. Suppose you take a pot, and in that pot there is what is called space. And suppose you break the pot. Even when you break the pot, nothing is happening to the space. Space is intact, nothing is happening. In fact, if we see, that is what we see when people die. When people die, the son or somebody carries some pot. In that pot there is some water, and then and the pujari or purohit puts 3 holes. One round, one hole, the second round, another hole, the third round, another hole, and finally he drops that pot. So that pot just breaking. So with when one part the stola sharira is gone, the other hole, another hole, the sukshma sharira is gone, and the other whole karana sharira is gone, and all the bodies have gone, and now this particular person has merged in Brahman. So that is what is mantra. They recite some mantras at that time, and those mantras, the meaning is that, oh, in this particular person, he has become one with the Brahma. That means all the 3 so-called bodies have gone, and this man is not going to have a rebirth, etc., etc. Of course, that is all a wish. We don't know. It may or may not happen, because this man, if he has done some lot of punyam, lot of papam, if the jiva is having so much of identification with the body, even at the time of death, this man is thinking about his bank balance, is talking about his shares and whatnot. Obviously, he is going to have another birth, because that will, which is there associated with that body-mind complex, it is going to take up another body. It's going to take up another body, because all that desires have not ended. So long as the desires have not ended, the man is continuing to have a body. So that is what Vedanta says. So here, nahanyate hanyamane sharire means, but when you talk about the pure Atma, when you are talking about the Atma is something which is not going to die. It is the body which is going to die. Then, next shloka is also like that. Veda Vina, I told you up to 25th shloka, he is talking about Atma Vichara. From 11th shloka number 11 to 25th, this is basically about what is the nature of self. What are you? Who am I? So that is what it is. The 21st shloka is Veda Vinashinam Nityam Yayenam Ajam Avyayam Katham Sapurushah Partha Kam Ghatayati Hantikam. So this Nityam Ajam Avyayam Yaha Veda, the person who knows this, in fact, evam Veda, we come across certain shlokas, mantras like that. When you go to a temple, evam Veda, otherwise Veda Hametam Purusham Mahantam, we say Veda Hametam. I know this, I have realized this. Veda means realized. Veda Vinashinam Nityam Yayenam Vajamavyayam. Yayenam Veda. Yayenam Veda. Yopamayetanam Veda. These words are also mantras we do listen when you go to a temple. So one who knows this, one who realizes this, one who realizes that this Atma is something which is Nitya. Nitya means something which is eternal, which is originless and which is endless. And Ajam, Avyayam. Avyayam, again Avyaya is another word which is used for Brahma. The same word is being used for the Jiva also. That is basically again and again and again he is saying that this what we call Jiva is not different from that Brahman. So Avyayam, Vyayam means what? In my house there is so much of Vyaya. Vyaya means what? Aya and Vyaya. Ayam is income and Vyaya is expenditure. Vyayam means something which is going down and down and down, decaying. I have got suppose so many rupees, and every day I am spending something, it goes on declining. So that is decline or change let us say. Avyayam means something which has absolutely no change. In grammar also you come across a word called avyayam, what we call linga vachana vibhakti shunyani avyayani. Linga vachana vibhakti shunyani. So they are whatever be the linga, whatever be the lingam. Lingam is masculine, feminine, gender, etc. Vibhakti, whatever is the vibhakti, nominative case, objective case, whatever it is. Vachana, whatever it is, ekavachana, bahuvachana, whatever it is. That word does not undergo any change. There are so many words like that. They are called avyayas. So like that, avyaya in Vedanta means different. Avyaya in Vedanta is referring to that supreme reality or what we call Brahma. And incidentally, it is the same thing which is also applicable for Atma, that is the Jiva. So, eyenam ajam avyayam katham sa purushah partha kam ghatayati hantikam. So, Krishna is putting a sort of rhetorical question. Such a person who realizes whom is he going to kill, means what does it mean? He is not going to kill anybody, he is not going to harm anybody. So, that is a sort of rhetorical question. Rhetorical question is that in which the answer is usually in the negative. So, whom is he going to kill means he is not going to kill anybody. So, for a jnani, the overall meaning is for a realized person. It is not talking about an ordinary person. An ordinary person should not think, okay, I am going to kill everyone, I am not going to do anything. The basic, the word itself, the word like killing, etc., it is used only to emphasize the point, that even if you do any karma, there is no kartrutva for a jnani. We are talking about a jnani. We are talking about a person who has realized what is the nature of this Atma. For such a person, there is no question of any kartrutva. There is no question of any doership. And now he is saying another shloka where vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunhati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnanyanyani sanyati navani dehi. Usually we come across this shloka several times. Usually many people they say vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunhati naroparani. That is a human being, okay, he is bound to die, he is going to take up another body. Another body also decays, he takes up another body. Just as you remove all these dirty clothes, once the clothes have become dirty or torn, whatever it is, you throw off and then take some other clothes, new clothes. So similarly, he is going to take a new body. So this is the meaning here. But we have to understand one small point here. There is, when a person dies, when we say that a person dies and takes up another body, what is it that is transmigrating? That is the question. When a person dies and he is said to take up another body, what is it that is transmigrating? What is transmigrating is not Atma. What is transmigrating is that what is called Linga Sharira or what is called subtle body or Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma Sharira is also called Linga Sharira. It is also called, it is in English we say it subtle body. So this Atma is something which is eternal. Atma, there is no question of death or birth or anything, there is no fresh birth there. Atma or consciousness is always associated with everything. So this Linga Sharira, what is this Linga Sharira? So this again, if I have not told you earlier, the human body broadly, it is, we analyze it. We analyze it and we see it in three different levels. That is, one level is the gross body. The gross body which is made of the skin, bones, blood, flesh, etc. All these things. Skin, whatever are the functional organs within the body, this alimentary system, respiratory system, all types of systems which are there in the body. So that is the Sthola Sharira, the gross body. And how this gross body is formed, etc., etc. Vedanta, again, it has got various theories. And then again, there is what is called unseen. What is unseen? What we call vital air or prana. Prana is something which is unseen. And my sense of what we call senses. My sense of sight, sense of touch, sense of smell. These senses are something which are not seen. And similarly, my mind, that is again another thing which I have not seen. So the mind and the senses, they are also not seen. So whatever is not seen, and some more things are also there, I am not going into all those details. So these things which are not seen, that is called subtle. What we see is gross or sthula. What we cannot see is what is called subtle or sukshma or linga sharira. Linga, it is called linga sharira because of that we are able to recognize that, oh yes, there is a body. Lingyate iti lingaha. Lingyate means that which is an indication that life is there. So linga sharira or sukshma sharira it is called. So when a person is set to die and take up another body, what transmigrates is this Linga Sharira. And this Linga Sharira is also associated with that consciousness, the same consciousness which is identifying himself with the body-mind complex. So that is what is that Atma, which is not going to die. Whereas this Linga Sharira is transmigrating from body to body, and this Linga Sharira will die or disintegrate when once there is a realization, self-realization. When Linga Sharira, when the person realizes the real nature, then this Linga Sharira also is going to disintegrate, and then he becomes one with that Atma becomes one with that supreme reality. So that is what we see here. So Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya, when he says, he is not referring to Atma dying, he is referring to the Linga Sharira which is dying. Tatha Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani Anyani Sanyati Navani Dehi. We will continue tomorrow. Harihi Om Tat Sat.